years and whatever from different islands. Didn't seem like we had a lot of Bajans here. Just one. Just one. These odds are equal, that one Bajan and the rest of West I would particularly like to thank Cecilia's College at the Domestic Policy Council, Heather Foster and her colleagues in the White House Office of Public Engagement. Heather's mom is here with us. Where is she's a proud Jamaican? Where is she? There she is. Yes, indeed. I'd like to thank each of our expert panelists for all that they've done to bring us together today. It's a privilege to take part in what is this important annual observance, and it's an honor also to join this group, which includes congressional leaders, distinguished representatives of Caribbean nations, and community advocates in reflecting upon our rich cultural heritage, discussing issues of importance to Caribbean American leaders at every level of government and the private sector, and celebrating the diversity that has always stood one of our country's greatest strengths. Now, since 2006, when Congress officially designated June as Caribbean American Heritage Month, our nation has paused around this thing each year to honor the contributions of generations of hardworking Caribbean Americans. And for me, and I know for many of you, this celebration has taken on a special and a personal significance. Now, as many of you know, my father and all four of my grandparents came to this country many years ago from the great island of Barbados. Peas and rice, you know? Ackee, sawfish, yeah. Like millions of others throughout our history from all walks of life and from every corner of the globe, they set their sights on America's shores and moved to New York City in order to build a brighter future for themselves as well as for their children. So although I am a native New Yorker by birth as well as by upbringing, I'm proud to say I was raised in a Bajan home, infused with West Indian traditions and with West Indian values. One of the greatest blessings of my life was growing up in a neighborhood that was populated largely by immigrants and an overwhelming number of West Indian immigrants, among people who held a deep appreciation for this country and its enduring promise, if not at that time its reality of liberty, opportunity, and justice for all who live within its borders. These wonderful, hardworking women and men, these were hardworking folks, understood the importance of family. They championed education. They taught me the values of tolerance and of respect, and their visions and their hopes, if not for them, but for the next generation, of a limitless future defined by fairness and equality for all, continues to inspire me to this very day. It challenges every American, and particularly the leaders here today, to carry on the work of those like my father and grandparents who crossed vast oceans and great cultural divides, who struggled and who sacrificed in order to keep the great American experiment in motion, who challenged our great nation to live up to its founding concepts. Most of all, it calls us to the service of the nation that we love and the pursuit of our highest ideals. In many ways, these ideals were the driving force that first sparked my interest in the law. That was more years ago than I'd like to admit. They have guided every step of a career that I've spent serving and trying to perfect our justice system. And they have been reinforced by the experiences that have defined my life and work, including the problems I witnessed as a kid, growing up on the streets of East Elmhurst, Queens, and New York City, the challenges that I've worked to confront since I first came to Washington more than 3.5 decades ago to begin my legal career at our nation's Justice Department, and the constant drumbeat of concern that I hear every day as the Attorney General of the United States in my travels across this great country. Concern for those who felt they have been left out and who have been left behind, for victims of crime, abuse, and violence, for the most vulnerable members of our society, including children, as well as the elderly, and for those, especially young people, who too frequently make wrong choices and come into contact with our criminal justice system. Over the last 5 years, I'm proud to say that my colleagues across the Justice Department and our counterparts throughout the government have helped to achieve, I think, a really significant progress in addressing these and many other issues, and especially since last February when President Obama launched a national call to action known as My brother's keeper. We've been working closely with partner agencies, with private groups, citizens, foundations, corporations, and community leaders like so many of you to address persistent opportunity gaps and to provide young people with the support that they need to stay on the right path. My brother's keeper is uniting Americans from all walks of life to knock down the barriers that too many of our young people, in particular young men of color, continue to face. We are challenging citizens to get involved by taking a pledge at the website, whitehouse.gov/mybrotherskeeper, to serve as long-term mentors to young people in their communities. Again, it's whitehouse.gov/mybrotherskeeper. And we're striving to ensure that every American's ability to get ahead is determined by his or her own work ethic, goals, and potential, not by the circumstances of their birth. And this, at its core, is the promise that we're striving to fulfill through My Brother's Keeper. It's the enduring truth that lies at the heart of the American dream. And it's the challenge that animates this administration's ongoing efforts to confront one of the most urgent challenges that we're discussing today: the need to pass common sense immigration reform, and to fix our broken system by creating an earned path to citizenship, by continuing to strengthen border security, and by holding employers accountable, and by bringing our immigration system into the 21st century. Now, it was that very system that worked at the beginning of the last century and made possible the dreams of my relatives and so many others from locations around the world. As you know, comprehensive reform is supported by the overwhelming majority of the American people. But this is about far more than politics. It's about who we are as a nation and what we stand for as a people. And it goes to the core of our identity and our proud history as a country comprised of, and let us never forget, a country built by immigrants. And let me be clear. Unless you trace your roots to Native American ancestors, you are of immigrant descent. No matter when your relatives first stepped upon our shores. Unless you, as I said, Native American, you are an immigrant. Moving forward with these reforms, making these improvements, and ensuring that this country will always be able to welcome leaders, entrepreneurs, artists, innovators, and hard workers is nothing less than, I think, a moral imperative. It's also good policy. Throughout history, the United States has been constantly renewed and strengthened by immigrants who enrich our country with their ideas, their enthusiasm, and their talents. It has what has made America unique among nations, and especially today, as we move into an age of unprecedented global competition, the perspective, the energy, and the innovation of immigrants and descendants of immigrants, like so many of us, will be as important as ever before. Our nation will continue to rely on business, faith, and community leaders, both in and far beyond this room, to help realize this vision and to achieve the uniquely American dream that has always drawn the best and the brightest to our shores. We'll keep depending on you to address critical challenges like the ones we discussed here at the White House today. And we'll never stop fighting to support and stand alongside you as we work together to make this nation stronger, more secure, and more prosperous. We strive always to help build a brighter and more inclusive future that our children deserve. As I look around this crowd, I can't help but feel optimistic about our ability to do just that. I know I speak for my colleagues at every level of the administration when I say we are proud to count you all as partners in this work and in this effort. We are grateful for your leadership and for your many contributions, and we're very eager to see where our joint efforts will take our great nation in the months and the years to come. Thank you all very much.